Good morning, everybody. This is a Saturday edition of Chaz Says Anything, episode 65, Breakfast with Chaz, Sports Palooza after Christmas. Oh my God. My first Saturday episode. Oh my God, I am tired. All right, so if you like what you see or like what you hear, please click the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner. I do have some breaking news to start the show. Arizona Diamondbacks and right-handed pitcher Corbin Burnes agreed to a 6-year, $210 million contract, according to Jeff Passan and another source from this morning. Let's see, Burnes, 30 years old, is former Cy Young Award winner who had spent the majority of the winter hunting for a landing spot as a free agent pitcher. But across the landscape, secured a high dollar long-term guarantee. Now, this team, the Diamondbacks, were not in the Corbin Burnes sweepstakes. Go figure. They came out of nowhere, offered him 6 for 210, and the Yankees, Mets, Blue Jays, and every other team that wanted him are out. So Arizona, now that he's a Diamondback, they're already boasting a strong rotation that includes Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Brendan Pfaadt, and it's Pfaadt. So I don't. Someone can tell me what that last name is. Eduardo Rodriguez and Jordan Montgomery. We all know who Jordan Montgomery is. Former Yankee, former Cardinal, former Ranger. Yeah, Jordan's been around a while. Very little time. So they'll add the best player on the market pending a physical. The deal, which was first reported by the New York Post, so that's the other source, includes an opt-out after the second season. Yeah, so it just goes on and on about Burnes and where he's been, and so yada yada yada. So that's an interesting pickup for Arizona Diamondbacks, and now I'll go into what I originally wanted to start with, was the end of the year trends for the 2024, like a best of, best of this, best of that. I don't know. I think I did one last year, but I kind of wanted to do one this year. I think if it just fits. Okay, so top 10 trends of 2024. This is from HewerTech.com, and it's more fashion trends, which is interesting. So the polo shirt is number one. It says here, polo shirts saw a remarkable 13% increase in popularity for women in Europe. So this is a worldwide. This isn't just U.S. trend. This is a worldwide. Between April and June of 2024. This surge was primarily fueled by both edgy and mainstream consumers who appreciate the blendy sporty and sophisticated styles. Number 2, wide-legged formal shorts. Wide-legged formal shorts have been on a steady rise since the increase of visibility of 67%. This trend has been predominantly embraced by edgy consumers aged 16 to 25 and 26 to 35. Yeah, but I like my shorts just over the knee. That's just me. Anyway, number 3, off-white. No surprise there. I'm not surprised off-white is in the top 10. Timeless neutral is shades of white, particularly off-white, gained popularity beginning in 2024, showing a 10% increase compared to the previous year. The rest of them are V-neck, which is a flattering versatility, as they put it. Athletic sophistication, the new trend. So that's a new one with all the different athletic apparel being used from tennis to gymnastics, aerobics, you name it. Even basketball shorts. That's become a big thing. Patent leather loafers. I guess this might be more international than U.S. I've not seen too many leather loafers around in the area. Number 7, flat-heeled Mary Janes. Now, I've seen Mary Jane since the 80s. So I'm not sure that's ever going to go away. The Mary Janes have been around since I remember when I went to grammar school at St. Jerome's. There were all the girls in my class, classes below, classes above. They were all wearing Mary Janes. Gray denim. Oh, denim fabric. Period. Like that. It's always usually a more fancier thing and more breathable to an extent. So I'm not surprised. Gray denim's a staple with style. Yeah, that makes sense. Lustrous fabrics, shimmer and shine. Yeah, women specifically. Obviously, if you're married or you have wives or girlfriends, they probably have at least one or two shimmery type, shiny uh, dresses or pants as they like to do. The last, which is definitely I've never been attracted to it or wanted, seen it with my women that I've been with. Leopard print, bold and fierce. Yeah, I don't know too many people that wear leopard. There are some, but I don't really know too many. So that's the fashion trend. What's everything? Let's say best of everything else: music albums, songs, TV, movies for 2024. So according to Entertainment Weekly, the top 10 best albums, starting from 10, "Born in the Wild" by Thames, "The Past is Still Alive" by Hurry for the Riff Raff, The Cure is number 8. The group The Cure, "Songs of the Lost World." 7, "Manning Fireworks" by MJ Lenderman. Number 6, "Hearing the Pitch" Jessica Pratt. Number 5, "Diamond Jubilee" by Cindy Lee. Number 4, "Hit Me Hard and Soft" by Billie Eilish. Number 3, "Short and Sweet" Sabrina Carpenter. Number 2, "Gag Me." That's not it, but I'm just saying "Gag Me." Cowboy Carter, Beyonce. And number 1, "Brat" by Charlie XCX. So that's this year's top 10 albums. Let's go to movies. I'm curious on movies. Trying to find a favorite movies of 2024 by Barack Obama. Let's see that. That's interesting. In no particular order. Wow, I don't even know any of these, so I'm going to get out of. I know like 2 of them, so I'm going to go get out of that. As I only saw a couple, and I didn't see any in the theater this year. So, it took me hard for me to say what was really good. Wow, there's none. Okay, Screen Slate, best movies from Screen Slate. Number 1, A Different Man. Number 2, The Beast, Janet Planet. Okay, we ever heard of these? No. Megapolis by Francis Ford Coppola. I can't say I heard of that. Number 20 is Challengers. Interesting. So yeah, Challengers is in a lot of people's top 10 from what I'm seeing. The movie with what was Challengers? That was the movie, a tennis movie. That it was the one tennis star with the 2 brothers. I'm not finding. Let's see, best movies 2020 from Los Angeles Times. Here we go. This is a good one. Smile 2 is number 10. Not a surprise. Seed of the Sacred Fig. Can't say I've heard of it. Universal Language, number 8. How to Have Sex, number 7. I don't know what that is. Nickel Boys, number 6. Hundreds of Beavers, number 5. A Real Pain, number 4. And that was Jesse Eisenberg, so that might be a decent movie. Love Lies Bleeding, number 3. Anora, number 2. And Dune Part 2 is number 1. Now, Dune Part 2, I want to see. Dune Part 2, I haven't. I've been wanting to see that for a little bit. I think it's on HBO Max so I should be able to see it soon. What I did see, and I would definitely rate as one of the top movies of the year, even though it's not critically acclaimed. It didn't even make much money apparently. Was Red One. I think Red One was really good. We watched it a couple days ago, just before Christmas, and it was Red One's a really good family movie. Hands down, it's a very good family movie, and I'll leave it at that. If you don't like it because The Rock was cheeky or whatever, that's fine. If it if you think it didn't do well in the theater, and that's why it hurt. Sorry, someone's calling me. um. Anyway, so if I don't know why someone's calling me today. Anyway, um, so that was in my mind, Red One was probably the best movie. Um, Let me go a little bit more here. Got a little bit of time left. Music. Here we go. Then I might have done music already. I want to do songs, not albums. Gotta find songs. Everybody did albums. Queer albums. So there you go. Best albums. Next. Yeah, I'm not gonna find songs. Okay. So I'm not too big on other songs. TV. There wasn't that much good out there that I can recommend other than um any of the CBS comedies. They're really funny. The CBS comedies, Ghosts coming back. That's funny. That Night Court wasn't the same. I thought, and that it is what it is on that. So that's that for uh the end of the year trends. Okay, let's go to my winners from week 16 for the confidence pool. Joe Bonillo, 248 points, and Joe Fuentes, 240. Congratulations, guys. The back-to-back Joes on that one. Fuentes, I think, is won recently with his son. I think it was a week before that. And then third place was very close. A 2 point difference. Khadijah Wakefield had 238 that week. So definitely kept it close. Let me go to that for a second. Let's see who's in the lead right now for the season. And it's changed a little bit because there have 3 games have been played today. So for the season, it's Larry still in first with 2984 at the moment. 2984 at the moment. Khadijah, it has 2960. Only 24 points back. So Larry's definitely sweating there. And another 22 points back at 2938 is Andrew Fuentes. He's got 2938. So he's 22 back of Khadijah. Fourth place is Mike Tice at 2870. And as of right now, I mean it can change with the 3 games today. I'm in 5th place at 2848. I am only 22 points back of Mike. So 1 through 4 are the money. So I'm creeping to get some of that money. and I'm creeping on Mike. Now behind me is Larry's brother Jeff. He's got 2840. Paul Garner has got 2834. Jeff Zawadsky, Mr. Terrorist, 2832. Angelo Boob Lover Quinones, 2822. And lastly, Kelvin, aka KK, he's got 2792. So that's top 10 right now. And Quidada's knocking on the door. So that's that. Sorry, I got report junk. That's the top 10 for right now on Saturday, December 28th. So we got the rest of week 17 and then week 18. So let's recap week 16. Okay. Actually, before we recap, let's do this. So I did do some pick 6. Denver over the Rams. I lost that. The Rams did win. Let me get to that game. That was the first game. Chargers beat the Broncos. And I had Rams. I wrote Rams, I meant Chargers. Chargers beat Denver 34-27. Denver just, I guess, doesn't have the defense. Go figure. Their defense just isn't as good as we thought. But Denver can score. So if they can ever get their defense going, and I don't think Denver's playing today, and I have a funny feeling they're losing today too. Is Cincinnati? They're that tough. That was that game. Houston over Kansas City. That was my gamble because Kansas City's been playing so poorly long term, even though they've been winning. They haven't been winning. They've been winning by less than a touchdown per game. But this time they won by 8. So it's still within a touchdown, but they won 27-19. Kansas City did. And they locked up number 1. So good for Kansas City for locking it up. Atlanta over the Giants, that was pretty easy. And Atlanta won 34-7. I actually was very surprised Atlanta scored that many points. But they did. And the Giants, the fact that they scored a touchdown, go figure. I think it was a rushing no, was it rushing? Or it might have been through the air. Who knows? Either way, it was a bit of a shock that they scored 7. I have no faith in that offense whatsoever. Rams over the Jets. It was that was actually the Rams over the Jets. And Rams came into New York, and yeah, that team, they won, but they can't play in cold weather like that. You get 19 points. They basically ran that through. There was no offense whatsoever. 19 points is not a number that's an offensive number. Philly over Washington. Wow. I didn't know, and I don't think anybody did, that Jalen Hurts would be out 11 plays in. Like, that wasn't anything I thought was going to happen. But it happened, and Washington took advantage. And now, and if Philly, like, they scare me with the team they got without Jalen Hurts. I don't think Barkley is enough for them to win. I know Barkley will try to do enough. I just don't know that is enough. So, yeah. Philly, with 2 games to go, they got to get healthy quick. And I had a Green Bay over New Orleans. I went 3-3. Green Bay destroyed New Orleans, actually shut them out. The first shutout this year, and first shutout on Monday Night Football in a long time. I think it was at least 20-something years. It was great. How long it's been since there's been a shutout period, and 34-0. That's a drubbing. So let's recap the rest. Baltimore beat Pittsburgh in Baltimore 34-17. Pittsburgh is strong, but Baltimore obviously is doubly stronger. Cincinnati over Cleveland 24-6. No surprise on that one. Carolina, Arizona. That game could have went either way. Carolina, bad team. Arizona, not a great team. But Carolina ends up winning that game, which in turn, when Carolina wins that game, Giants lose their game. That's when the Giants became the number 1 seed or pick for the 2025 NFL draft. So, not that I want the Giants to lose out, but I expect the Giants to lose out. So I expect us to have that number 1 pick in 2025, which I'll delve into in the future on a future podcast. So what else we got? Detroit faced a Chicago team where both teams were hurting. Detroit was hurting because they are lacking people, lacking players, and good ones. But they still scored 34 points in Chicago. Like, Chicago's just not good. But they scored 17 points. Like, a Chicago team that's bad, but they can score. So that just tells you right there, they really need more. Chicago needs a defense more than they need an offense. And that's bad for Simone Biles' husband because he's on that defense, and is he going to be off that team? Indianapolis over Tennessee, another game that both teams aren't great. Indianapolis at home beats Tennessee 38-30. A lot of offense there. Um, Seattle, Minnesota. I think I got this right. Yeah, I did. I got this right. But it was a squeaker. Minnesota going to Seattle, winning that game 27-24. So a lot of people were confident about Seattle, and I honestly, I think Seattle's going to be one of those middle of the road teams that's just going to miss out on the playoffs, and they're not going to be high enough in the draft to get somebody halfway decent. That's going to suck for Seattle. Buffalo over New England. Now, New England must have their coach, Jared Mayo, must be one hell of a motivator to get that team to score 21 points and keep the Buffalo to 24. Like, that was a very close game throughout the game, and that had to scare Buffalo fans. Like, Buffalo Nation is reeling after last week, so let's see what happens this week. And New England, whoever's playing, I think New England's playing today. That's going to be a tough out. Like, they're going to have to play that game their way, and I'll get to that. Whoever they're playing. Las Vegas beat Jacksonville. No, wait, yeah. So it wasn't Carolina; it was Las Vegas. When Las Vegas won, the Giants became number one, not Carolina. I keep thinking Carolina from last year. So, Vegas over Jacksonville, no surprise. But someone's got to win. You'd think more than likely. Miami beat San Francisco. I think we're done with San Francisco. The NFC West is going to be probably Seattle. I mean, and that's a one and out team with Seattle. With Seattle, you got San Fran, you got Arizona, and you got the Rams, and there's no good team in that division. It's really pretty sad that's the team. That's a division that's not good. Dallas over Tampa Bay by 2, 26-24. Dallas is on a bit of a roll. I think it's only because they're in panic mode. And good for them that they figured it out. I honestly had Tampa winning that game. But Dallas has been able to figure it out. I'm not going to hate on them because they're doing what they're supposed to do with the lack of quarterback they have. But and now, why did I say I meant the rest of week 17? Hold on, I didn't change that. Let's see, there we go. The rest of week 17. Now, so let's go over the 3 games real quick of what we just saw. Okay, from Christmas to Thursday night football. And by the way, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I know my kids did. I'm exhausted from the week because one child was sick at the beginning of me having him, and then the other child got sick at the end. So both children know who they are and what they did, what they had. It was an interesting 5 days with my kids last week. So the Christmas game, 2 games actually. Kansas City beats Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 29-10. That wasn't even a game. Like, Kansas City had that the entire way. Santa Claus, he was dressed at, Andy Reid dressed as Santa Claus when they won this game. And like they're just on a roll. Now, as long as they stay healthy, Kansas City could run the gambit. So if they do, we'll see. That's to be told down the road. Baltimore destroyed Houston in Houston. Like, I was at my family gathering, family party, Christmas party with Beth's family, and we're watching this game like here and there. And Houston scored 2 points, and that's it. Like, absolutely crazy that Houston scored 2 points, and that's it. I finally have somebody watching me. And now I don't. Anyway, so you know, uh, Baltimore just absolutely destroyed, and their defense was amazing. That was an amazing defense for Baltimore. So good for Baltimore, 31-2 again on Christmas night. And then the worst game, like I went to work on Friday. I was I don't know what I was doing Thursday, but I did not watch this game. I watched everything else but that game. And I'm glad I did. The fact that the game was 6-3 as a final. I've seen a 6-3 game before. One of the Giant games from the past couple years, it was a 6-3 game. They're not fun to watch. There's no entertainment value in that. I've Amazon had to be losing people left and right with that. And most of us got it right in my pool, but like we figured Seattle would beat Chicago. Angelo had Chicago at 3 for the upset. Joey B picking Chicago at 11. That's a little nefarious there, dude. Chicago 4 for Adam. Chicago 6 for Dawn. And Chicago 10 for Joe. Joe's lost all 3. Wow. Joe, I got a lot of Joes. It's Joe Varga. And that's it. So only a few people pick Chicago. But, I just... The NFL has to have better games than this. I don't understand why we have... And it wasn't like it was a weather-related game. And from a couple people I talked to, Adam from work, and he said he watched it, and a couple other people, there was no weather-related issues like high wind, heavy rain, snow, nothing, none of that. So 6-3 just means 2 inept offenses. Was there a Christmas hangover? That makes me wonder. Should we be playing games after Christmas? You want to play on Christmas? I get it. It works. Obviously, 3 out of 4 teams on Christmas showed up. I'd say even Pittsburgh showed up to a point. Houston didn't, but I don't know. Games after Christmas. You would think for a football player, I don't know. All right, let's go to my pick 6. So, today's games that will be happening starting at 1 o'clock. LA Chargers, I have over New England. It's going to be a close game. That's going to be a 3 to 6 point game. But I see the Chargers eking it out. Chargers need this game to basically get into the playoffs. I got Cincinnati over Denver. Cincinnati needs this game to stay alive in the playoffs. Denver wins, they will get in, but I see Cincinnati beating Denver. Cincinnati will be the home team. Chargers are the away team. And then the last game for today, Rams over Arizona. Rams are home as well. I think they win in SoFi. Arizona's not shown enough to tell me that they're good enough. Other games, we got Indy over the Giants. I think that's almost a guarantee, unless Indy forgets to play. Like that's a very good possibility. Indy's lost enough games that if they forget to play, they forget to play. And I got this is my feeling. Jalen's out. Well, okay, if you haven't heard yet, I'm telling you now. Jalen Hurts is out for this week. Your starter is Kenny Pickett, who has rib issues. Now, I love Kenny Pickett. He's a local kid from Ocean Township, New Jersey. He went to Pittsburgh for a couple years. He's a good guy. He didn't look good before he got the rib injury. Do we think he's going to look good now? I don't think so. Barkley will hopefully do enough. I don't know who else will. If you're not getting the ball thrown to you properly or getting it to you or you're not running the right route, I can see this as a defensive game. I don't see Dallas getting too many points. I could see this as a 13-7 game. Truly, 13-7. We'll see. And then lastly, Detroit over San Francisco on Monday night. Detroit will go into Santa Clara and just wipe the floor with them. I don't see San Francisco scoring. I think McCaffrey is playing, but if McCaffrey's playing and hasn't done anything now, he's going to just show up now. I don't know. I don't suspect that they'll do anything else. Other games I did pick that I don't have on my pick six. Who do I got? Let's see. Right now I'm in. Actually, let me go to the week. I'm actually in 13th place only because I don't have high picks on some of my games. My high pick is Buffalo over the Jets, 16. Let's see. I got one on Tennessee because Tennessee Jacksonville, I have no idea. I got 4 on New Orleans over Vegas. I sense New Orleans should win this game, but they're home, so that's my feeling on that. Tampa Bay against Carolina. Tampa Bay losing so harsh to how they did last week. Tampa Bay's going to rally. That's my 13. Dallas, I picked Dallas at 2 because I didn't know then, but I know now more. I really feel Dallas is going to win. Miami over Cleveland. Cleveland has no offense, so Miami should win that game. Minnesota, that's the game of the night, the game of the week probably. Minnesota home against Green Bay. Mano a mano in the NFC North. Green Bay's a tough team, but so is Minnesota. I sense Minnesota's eking that out like 34-31, 34-27, something like that. Washington, Atlanta. I really think Washington takes Atlanta out. Washington, you got Penix starting for Atlanta. I think it's going to be it's rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback, so that's going to be enticing to watch on Sunday night. The issue will be, I think, Jaden Daniels is just that much better right now over Michael Penix, and Jaden Daniels has more weapons than Michael Penix does. So now Michael Penix, if he runs the ball, we'll see. That could make it a little interesting and make my 15-pointer shaky. And I have Detroit at 14. So I'm crossing my fingers. I got 220 points to win, and let's see if I do well. If well, 220 points. If I go out and win out, that would be great. I'm trying to gain points on Mike Tice. Mike Tice, where is he at right now? For the week, I think he's below me. Mike, where are you at, bro? Oh, you're a little bit below me. Well, you got the same picks. A lot lower. So, yeah, it's going to be close between me and Mike to jump into that 4th spot. All right, so that's week 17. I will pose this question again to everybody since I have nobody on watching right now. It is what it is. Saturday's probably not a good day to actually do a live show. It is and that is what it is, but I knew what might happen. I do know people will watch after. I got one of my nephews in law, I guess you can call him. My nephew-in-law Jeff, him and his wife Aaron were over last night, and he's a subscriber. He was in Germany for a while with the Army. Now he's back home, and he's been in Jersey for to see his family this week. So, it was nice to see Jeff last night, and he's out actually hunting right now. So he will be watching later on. But this question I asked to Giant fans and other football fans. I asked it last week. I'll ask it again. I feel my thoughts have changed slightly. I think Joe, Shane, and Dable could be more gone than they were before. There's just a sense that they're not going to be here to get that number 1 pick. It's a growing sense in me. Okay, I'm hoping that's wrong because honestly, I would like to see those two players, Shane. When I say players, people. Joe Shane and Brian Dable be able to get the quarterback they want to. Whether it's Cam Ward, whether it's Shedeur Sanders, whether it's somebody else. That Georgia kid. I'm thinking about. There's also getting Travis Hunter, a wide receiver and or cornerback if you choose. I mean, he could be one of those. He could be one of the first two, players where you can have him at a wide receiver and put him on third down on defense. So he's less likely to overtire. I can see that happening in this NFL with players like that who want to do that. We'll see what happens, but I'm growing less and less confident that Joe Shane and Brian Dable will still be here by January 6th. Especially, and I don't think it's going to be how they lose. I just think it's the growing feeling with John Mara and what they're going to do down the road. So we'll see what that is about. Now, we look at Week 18, let me go to the schedule for Week 18. So no game has been shown to what they're going to be next week. The games are only going to be played on Sunday, January 5th. So the teams that are playing who? Let's see some interesting games here. San Francisco, Arizona, not interesting. Carolina, Atlanta, not interesting. Cleveland, Baltimore, not interesting. Baltimore should win out. Washington, Dallas is interesting because of Washington needs the win. So that's an interesting game. Kansas City, Denver, only interesting because Denver needs the win. Minnesota, Detroit, best game of the night. That will be the last game. I'm predicting right now, Minnesota, Detroit will be the last game of the year. Just because of the ramifications of those two winning and losing. Okay? Chicago, Green Bay. Green Bay only needs, they may already be slotted in. That doesn't matter. Jacksonville, Indy, that doesn't matter. Seattle and the Rams. Could be a later in the day game for two reasons. One, they're obviously on the West Coast. Two, there are implications with both winning and losing. Los Angeles Chargers in Vegas, not as much, but that's probably still going to be a West Coast game. Buffalo, New England, not really necessary. The Buffalo might still only be, I think they're a 5 and they're going to stay a 5 if I'm correct. I don't know what the number is. Actually, no, they're the 2 seed. I think they're 2 and they're staying the 2. It's just no matter what. I don't see the Chiefs losing. Miami at New York. I don't think that's a game that's necessary. New York at Philly. The only thing that makes New York Philly even remotely interesting is if Jalen Hurts is still hurt, does the Giants actually have a shot to win and ruin themselves getting that number 1 pick? Because obviously the players don't care about that. The team only cares about that. Now, in theory, if we have the number 2 pick, there's still a quarterback. One quarterback's taking, the other quarterback's going to be there. And that's even if that team wants a quarterback. So that's the only ramification. Philly is the better team. Although, let's be real, if New York wins, Philly loses, and Washington wins, I think Washington becomes the NFC East champ. So that's an interesting dynamic on that. And then Philly will be on the outside looking in or at the very bottom of that 6-7 seed for the NFC. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, that's another game. Not as intriguing as Minnesota, Detroit, but that's another game because if Cincinnati wins today, that becomes more of a big deal. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, that's only big for Tampa Bay to try to get in or stay in. And Houston, Tennessee is not a game that will probably be one of the first games played. So that's what we're looking at with that. That's going to be an interesting pickup for who's going to win what and how and why. So once these games are done, we go into this, which I've already emailed. CHAZZ's 2025 NFL Playoff Bracket Challenge is coming on January 6th. All on poolhost.com, on the Poolhost app for Google Play phones. So I've already emailed it out. 400 different emails. And I'm gonna put it on Facebook. I'm gonna put it on other social media. It's gonna be $10 per sheet. I didn't write that. I will write that in the next email. It is $10 per sheet. Okay, so I will keep it like that. That I think I had 5 last year, but I had 25 players last year, and some with multiple sheets in on the pool. If you want to do that, that's fine. The more the merrier. It's just you make sure you change up your picks a little so it's not the same. But had 25 last year. Let's get that higher. That I think that you only got a week to do it. At $10, that's not that much. I might do 2 myself. It's an interesting playoff picture, so 2 might be more suffice for me to do. And now, which a lot of people have been waiting for, at least people I know, CHAZZ's NFL Super Bowl boxes have been sent out this morning. Everybody that is in my Super Bowl box from the past, I sent it out. I've already got at least 5 $10 boxes sold before this show even started. So check your emails and subsequent social media apps: Facebook, X, Instagram, Nextdoor, Substack, Threads, and TikTok. They will go on every single one. Okay, now let me go to my email. See if actually that's not my email. Where'd my email go? Oh, there it is. More emails. Let's see. Okay, so Ricardo said, doesn't matter where, just put me down at once, every other line. Put me on the lines 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so yeah, my buddy Ricardo was the first one to get boxes. Rigoberto Cardona will probably be the next one. He has yet to answer me. So that is what I'm waiting for. Okay. Yeah, out of the 420 something emails I sent out, or email addresses I sent out to, 2 have responded so far. I don't have any texts. I do have notifications. Let's see. Any text messages? Doesn't look like it. No. Okay. No text messages. Just somebody from Boundbrook who called me during my podcast. Anyway, so this is up, and at the email at the end, you'll see, and I'll say it here, and you'll see it later, chazzroyalty@gmail.com. That's where you email me what you want, or you text me if you have my number, which I'm not giving out here, but it's on the email. Okay? So if you don't check your email that often, and you're one of my friends, contact friends, or anything other in between, you might want to check it out. Okay? That's up for now, and it's now started. The boxes are up and ready to go. And my challenge for the college challenge has started. Let's see who's in the lead. Let me go to home. Let's go to the college one. My college football challenge. Let's see if they updated it yet. They did not update it yet. Okay. Pools is a little slow with this college thing. There were 5 games yesterday. Not one of them was updated. Right now, Christina Garcia is winning at 20 points with tied, actually, and she's tied for the pick'em picks. But in total points, she has 24 because she has 4 points from her playoff bracket. Dexon Bailey, which is Joe Fuentes, is in second place. He's got 23 points. Adamir has 21 points. And Jeff Zawitsky and Khadijah and Ralph with 20. Joe Varga, Joey B, Joe Bonello, and myself with 18 points, with also Angelo Quinones, Joey B, his other second one has 16 points. Steve Benedetto, welcome back. He's been in my pools every once in a great while. Steve Benedetto has 15 points with Tim Kelly, and rounding the bottom, Ti. Oh, that's Tom Lucas has 14, and Khadijah's second also has 14 points. Now, our champion picks is very interesting. So, if I look at all the champion picks, it looks like Oregon has the most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6 of the 15 have Oregon as the champion. 2 Texas. Christina and who is that? Joe Varga have Texas. 1 Notre Dame, Ralph. Good. I hope so. I don't think it's going to happen, Ralph, but no, 1 Notre Dame. 4 Georgias, and I'm included in that. 5 Georgias. I really think Georgia's going to repeat, and I'm good with that. I'm really good with Georgia repeating because they're decent. They're a good, decent team. Okay, so that's the College Bowl. 15 players, $100 for first, 50 for second. So that's that. So I left that up. That's the college bracket. That's the games that already played. Clemson won. Ohio State won. I'm sorry, Texas won. Ohio State won. Penn State won, and Notre Dame won. Okay. Picks I picked last week. Well, I won both of those, which is good. I lost both the 3 of those. California over UNLV, I was wrong. Jacksonville State over Ohio, I was wrong. And Georgia Southern over Sam Houston, I was wrong. So my picks for this week. The Fenway Bowl, which will start in 13 minutes. I have UNC over UConn. Although if UConn should win this game, it would be very interesting because that is a bit of a home game for them as Connecticut is near, obviously, Boston. The Pinstripe Bowl, Nebraska over BC. Nebraska's is that much stronger. And it doesn't matter that they're playing in Yankee Stadium. BC's not winning that game, I don't think at all. I don't think they're as strong as Nebraska. New Mexico Bowl, 12-15. I have TCU over Louisiana. TCU's just that much stronger. They're in the SEC. They're a stronger team overall. And then the Pop-Tarts Bowl at 3:30. I have Miami over Iowa State. I think Miami is completely an overwhelming team to Iowa State. Iowa State's not a bad team in the Big 12 or Big 10, whatever they're Big 10. Sorry, 18 teams in the Big 10. But I just think Miami's just that much better in the ACC. More games today. Arizona Bowl, 4:30. Colorado State over Miami of Ohio. That's going to be probably one of the minor games. Like it's not it's a minor bowl too. Like the Arizona Bowl, it's not a major bowl, but I think Colorado State should beat Miami of Ohio, but we'll see. Like that's an up, probably a +3, -3 type game. Military Bowl played in Annapolis at 5:45. I have NC State over East Carolina. NC State's just a better team as well. Sorry, I'm sweating here. It's pretty warm in this room. Alamo Bowl, 7:30 tonight. Deion Sanders, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter, and the rest of Colorado, I feel, will win over BYU in San Antonio. The Independence Bowl at 9:15 tonight. I have Army over Louisiana Tech. Army is probably a little upset they didn't get into the top 12. Understandably so, but I think that was just, might have been an overreach, okay? But I think Army will take out this Tech team from Louisiana. And hopefully that'll put me up closer to first place because, like I said, I'm in 9th place now. I really feel a good win streak will put me closer to the top leader in Christina. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to baseball. MLB offseason for the past week. So I already told you about Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes going to Arizona, 6 years, 210. That's a lot of talking, isn't it? So we got this happening also today. The Dodgers re-signed outfielder Teoscar Hernandez last night. So yeah, I guess the Yankees aren't getting their left fielder, and I guess nobody else is, because that was supposed to be what was going to be. That would be a great pickup right there if you had Teoscar, Cody, and Judge, and then you could put Cody in first, and then put Jason in center. It's Jason Dominguez, and maybe the Yankees probably weren't in on him, and that's fine. Now, I've seen this, and this is interesting. The Alex Bregman versus Pete Alonso debate, and this comes from the Mets. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, I got a lot of emails since I started this, so let's see if I can find it. All right, let's see. Now, I know I saw it. It had to be up near the top. There we go. Just Mets. Okay. So it's on a Just Mets page. Should the Mets bring back a homegrown star, or is going all out for a marquee third baseman the better move? Plus, Sean Manaea returns. So I did forget that Sean Manaea did return. So this is the or it's an maybe it's not an argument. They posted it on their it's almost like it's a Twitter type X thing on their page where you could comment. So I guess that's the debate. And my thing is, for the Mets, if they can get both, that's great, because you need that type of power on the team with Soto. So if you could surround both on both sides, I don't know what Bregman is, but I know obviously Alonso's right-handed to Soto's left. So if you could just get Alonso back on track to hitting 270 or 280, 40 points higher or more than he's been hitting, then that's a good deal. That gets you more runs. That gets Soto if Soto's on base, and gets him in with Alonso. Or vice versa. You put Bregman behind and put Alonso in front. It can work. We know Steve has the money for the Mets to do this. The issue is Epler getting it done. So we'll see. In my opinion, I think there's no debate. You take both. But, one without the other. If you don't get Bregman, who's your third base option? Is it Beatty? He hasn't shown much. I know he's this stud-looking kid, but I just got no words for that. So, all right. Next up, the New York Mets have their starting center fielder for 2025, or so the question is, they do have, or do they have? And they kind of do. It's more than likely Tyrone Taylor. More than likely. They did bring in Jose Siri. Okay. But Siri can't hit. He hasn't shown he can hit. He can run, and that's probably what he's going to do. He's going to be a pinch runner and maybe a hitter every once in a while. If he gets in 60 games, he'll get in 60. I think Tyrone Taylor is your center fielder. Until he does bad or something else is good or better, then Tyrone is your center fielder, just plain and simple. All right. I saw this and I had to talk about this. My 10 favorite strange but true hitting feats of the year by the Athletics' Jason Stark. If you've never heard or read Jason Stark, you're missing out. Like he's a very interesting uh, read and listening to when he used to be on ESPN talking about a lot of this stuff. So one of them is Quan, you're hot, you're hot. So you'll never guess how Guardians hit machine Stephen Kwan had his 14-game hitting streak end in June. How about on a hit? Well, it should have been a hit. The runner on first, Austin Hedges, held up for so long to see if the ball got through, he managed to get forced out at second on a line drive rocket to center field. That then when that there went Kwan's pursuit of Joe DiMaggio. That kind of sucks. That a line drive that the player stood at first. That sucks. All right, no, he's a pop star. No Dodgers actually hit for the cycle this year, but Mookie Betts did pop up for the cycle. Here's how his 4 at bats went on September 25th. Pop up to second, pop up to third, pop up to first, and yep, pop up to short. So he had a cycle of pop ups in the infield on September 25th. That's funny. Why Wyatt? But you know who did it for the cycle in 2024? Rangers rookie Wyatt Langford. And Wyatt would we mention that? Because in his first season in the big leagues, Langford had a cycle and an inside the park homer and a walk-off grand slam. Just to put that into a little perspective. Here's one guy who's never done any of those things. Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge only got his first walk-off home run, I think, last year or the year before. I mean, there are guys that just don't do this. I mean, you see it all the time on SportsCenter, but there are guys that just don't do this. Now, he also says, all rise and head for first base. Then again, Aaron Judge also did some stuff this year that nobody has ever done. And since this is strange, but true feats of the year column, we're not talking about all those baseballs he whomped into the bleachers. We're talking about stuff like this. After hitting his 41st home run of the season in the first inning, Aaron Judge gets the intentional walk in the second with 2 out and nobody on. That was the site of Judge getting intentionally walked by Blue Jays on August 3rd with nobody on base in the second inning. So does that mean Judge is getting the Barry Bonds treatment? He says he'd vote no. Career plate appearances by Bonds, first or second inning, no one on. Wow. Bonds was walked 1,690 times in the first or second inning of a game. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. Career plate appearances by Bonds, first or second inning, no one on. Oh, okay. So he had, let me rephrase on this. Bonds had 1,690 plate appearances in the first or second inning with no one on. He was intentionally walked never. That's interesting. So Bonds never got that treatment, but now Aaron Judge is. That is interesting. But that's also that Toronto Blue Jay manager who's a little nutty. Ariza Roney. I count 43 active players who have struck out 5 times in one game. Then there's Luis Arraez, who also struck out 5 times this past season in the entire second half. Easy. So basically, that is, he only struck out 5 times since the All-Star game. That's a guy to follow. That's absolutely a guy to follow. All right, we've hit an hour. Easy as 0.1223. It may go down as the year of the Jackson. But with apologies to Jackson, Merrill, Churrillo, and Holiday, The most historic Jackson of them all might be the swinging Rays catcher Alex Jackson. He batted a picturesque 122 this year, or .1223 if you're doing it into decimal points, with 53 strikeouts and 17 hits. So what's historically strange about that? Oh, only that's the worst batting average in the modern era among position players who got at least 150 plate appearances in a season. And not only that, just 4 hitters in the last 50 years have ever come within 15 points of .1223. And one of them was a guy named Alex Jackson. Same guy. He hit 137 in 2021. Wow. I don't think we're going to be hearing from Alex Jackson this year. Just a thought. Leading man. I know this sounds like a riddle, but stay here with me. Victor Robles led off for the Mariners in their July 26th game against the White Sox. Drew Thorpe was the White Sox starting pitcher, and in the first inning, Robles hit a home run off of Thorpe. But it was not a leadoff home run. So what happened? Baseball happened. Robles led off that game by grounding out. But it was all downhill for Drew Thorpe after that. He then gave up 8 runs in that first inning and finished with a back-to-back home runs in that inning. And who hit the 3rd home run in a row? Mariners leadoff man Victor Robles. That is strange. That is very strange. Probably one more left. Don't walk this way. Ever heard a hitter making an out on his own intentional walk? No, never. So, until Marlins Jesus Sanchez did it on August 25th against the Cubs. He was due up with runners on second and third in one game. So when the Cubs put up 4 fingers, as you usually see on the side on the dugout, he started ambling toward first base. But then you turned back to the dugout when Christian Pache headed for first to pinch run for him. Oops. Since Sanchez never made it to first base, the Cubs appealed. He was out, but that's not all. His walk didn't even count, because according to the proper authorities, he'd refused to go to first base and wound up being scored as a 2 unassisted fly ball to the catcher to end an at-bat in which a pitch was never thrown. To a hitter, the other team was actually trying to walk. I think this sums up why we can only have a strange but true feats of the year column in baseball. That's a hell of a read. I love Jason Stark. That how do you not run to first? I wish I saw that. Like, I would have been all over Jesus Sanchez. You're intentionally walked. You go to first base. And I'll say it like this. It's as stupid of a move to not go as dropping a football before you cross the goal line in football, which many people have done stupidly, and a couple this year, and both in college and in pros. So that's baseball that was a lot of baseball talk that I expected to do today. So WWE Raw and Monday SmackDown last night. So SmackDown was interesting. If you didn't see it, I watched it a little bit later. Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Bayley defeat WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax, Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae in a 6-woman tag match. Now, that match is interesting for multiple reasons. Naomi and Bianca Belair are the tag team champions. Bayley is Naomi's friend. Naomi is only a tag team champion with Bianca because she helped to defend that in the wake of Jade Cargill getting hurt. Now, the storyline goes that Bianca thinks it's somebody else, like Nia, Tiffany, Candice, or somebody else that doesn't like Bianca and Jade. I think the storyline's it's going to be Naomi. And here's why. It's happened before. The friend always becomes the foe. The one who wants to have the championship and they get it, but they say they didn't do it. Or they never say it at all, so it's not assumed that they did it. It's going to be Naomi and or Bailey. One of the two. But I'd put my money on Naomi. That's whenever Jade comes back. I just hope it's not a video, because that means you held the video for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Whatever. So, but I thought it was an interesting match for that. The rest of the matches last night, Braun Strowman defeats Austin Theory. But that wasn't the last time we saw Braun Strowman. For the night, Michin crashes Chelsea Green's Women's United States title celebration. And I'll say this about Chelsea Green. I did not know half of the history of Chelsea Green. And good for Chelsea Green on becoming the first women's Intercontinental Champion. It's something that she probably never thought she'd get, and she did. And that's good for her. Her character, I could care less for, but the person she is and has become to get to this point, I think is good. I think the whole character thing, I could be done with, but that's the heel in her, then that's fine. I suspect at some point she's losing this title at some point. It's not going to be a long-winded reign for her. But, good for her to win, and it was interesting to see Michin come in with that kendo stick. Street Profits defeat Los Garza, who probably shouldn't have faced Los Garza in the first place. Apparently Street Profits were beaten up, and they're trying to find out who did it, and it was more than likely the champions now, DIY, and it was hinted to that, but then Apollo Crews comes in after they win the match and said, "Oh no, I saw it. It was DIY." So now the Street Profits are going to be pissed off at DIY. They're going to be pissed off at the Fufu guys that I forgot their names. Because they said that it was the Los Garza. It is what it is on that. This is going to be long dragged out all the way to Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn versus Carmelo Hayes ended up in a no contest because Carmelo starts to leave, and then Sami gets beat up by the Bloodline. Because Sami's not supposed to be on SmackDown. He's on Raw. He was there as he was trying to help somebody. I forget who. I don't think it was Randy. I don't think it was Cody. But it was somebody. Oh no, he wanted the Bloodline. That's right, because of what the Bloodline has done to Roman and everybody else. And then this happened. Kevin Owen unleashes another unbelievable attack on Cody Rhodes. So, the beginning of SmackDown. The hell is this guy's name? Let me go to it. Really, we're not going to tell me. Let me click it. No, that's not going to work. Anyway, the general manager of SmackDown issued a statement to Kevin Owens basically to say, you bring the title and nothing happens. But if you don't bring the title, major complications for your future in WWE. And basically that was, you're going to be fired. And he basically said it was non-negotiable. Well, after they get the Bloodline out, the GM stays into the ring and basically is hoping to see Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens just ends up whining and saying, how he wants another match. If he wants a referee that's going to stay in the match, which you're the one that pushed Cody into a referee. You're the one that did it. That's on you. You know, and if that original referee didn't see the chair that you brought in, that's on you. You know, it's a lot of whining, and good for Cody to actually come out with the busted neck that he's got, and basically say, I'll do whatever you want, and we'll get this done. And he said he wanted a ladder match. And so now there's a ladder match for Royal Rumble, but then Kevin Owens got stupid and pushes the GM into Cody and starts kicking Cody in the neck. It's gotten stupid. And what was interesting, actually, Braun Strowman actually came out to try to stop it. So that could be an interesting thing with Braun Strowman going forward. So I'm interested on that with SmackDown. So that'll be interesting. And let me retract. Don't forget, WWE Raw debuts on January 6th on Netflix at the Inuit Dome in LA. So I'll be talking about that match. That's I think 3 hours. And SmackDown also did say that next week they're going to 3 hours on USA. Thank God. These shows need to go 3 hours, not 2. You have all these different people you want to show. Put them out there for 3 hours. Some news and notes. So we're getting into the final bit of it. I might be quick today. Sacramento Kings fired their head coach. The guy was 13-18 record-wise. They fired their head coach. Wow. Okay, that can happen. Well, good for my next week. We won't ever see that going forward, at least not for now. And some sad news before birthdays of the week. Greg Gumbel, CBS Sports broadcasting legend, died yesterday at the age of 78. He will be missed. He was one of the great CBS broadcasters in sports. I remember him on NFL football in the 90s and everything else he did in between. I want to say he's the brother of Bryant. I don't know. But he's done a lot, and he'll be missed. He died of cancer, and very sad. Let's see. I did save. Okay, that needs to pause. His family confirmed the news in a statement on Friday night. It was profound sadness that we share the passing of our beloved husband and father, Greg. He passed away peacefully, surrounded in much love and courageous battle with cancer. Greg approached his illness like one would expect he would, with stoicism, grace, and positivity. He leaves behind a legacy of love, inspiration, dedication to the over 50 extraordinary years in sports broadcasting industry. And his iconic voice will never be forgotten. Greg's memory will live forever in the treasured by his family, dearest friends, colleagues, and all who loved him. That's from Marcy and Michelle Gumbel. So he was play-by-play announcer and studio host of CBS Sports, previously spent several years on air and on NBC Sports. He won legions of fans with his work hosting coverage ranging from the NFL Today to multiple Super Bowls and Olympic Games. He was also the first black Super Bowl announcer ever. And that's interesting. I heard that last night. That is very interesting. Celebrated his 50th year of broadcasting in 2022. That man will be missed. CBS put out a statement as well. He did March Madness, too. That's right, he did do March Madness. Born in New Orleans in 1946, May 3rd. Grew up in Chicago. Graduated from Loras College in Du Bois. I probably didn't say that right. Iowa in 1967. I was right. His younger brother, Brian Gumbel, also rose to fame, broadcasting host of NBC's Today Show and Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. So Greg joined CBS Sports in '89 after years of hosting play-by-play duties for the Knicks and New York Yankees baseball for Madison Square Garden Network. I don't remember that. It's probably why I did see him back then, but I don't remember that. As well as other MSGN programs, which earned him a local Emmy in New York. He also worked for ESPN, WMAQ-TV in Chicago, where he won 2 local Emmys, and WFAN Radio in New York City. He did it. He did it all. Good for him. When the Cowboys won the Super Bowl when they had Dion. There's a picture of him with him there. Gumbel returned to CBS Sports 1998. Basketball icon Magic Johnson also paid tribute, writing on X, "I'm saddened to hear about the passing of longtime and legendary broadcaster and friend Greg Gumbel. Greg was an African-American pioneer." And I'll leave it with that. That's what he was, an African-American pioneer. Okay. We got birthdays of the week. I'll start with the day after Christmas. I apologize to anybody who I missed over the few days that I didn't do. I do apologize. It is what it is. But now we'll start with Thursday, the day after Christmas, 12/26. Evan Jones, my soon-to-be nephew-in-law, will turn 35 on Thursday. John Wilson, a classmate of mine for many of my St. Jerome's years. Didn't graduate with him, but he was in my class. John Wilson, 49. Happy birthday. Joyce Purnell, a bowler in one of my leagues in Strathmore. Happy birthday, 64. On Friday, yesterday, Nicholas DeVito. I looked him up before. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. I want to say I work with him at the Acme in Tinton Falls. It's a name that just clicks in my head for that. Happy birthday, Nick. Madeline Cardona, where I worked at National Starch in the accounts payable department. I was in the mailroom, but I also worked with accounts payable. I worked very closely with 2 people. Madeline Cardona was one of them. Happy birthday, Madeline. Gary Arnold, he was a Eatontown friend of mine way back when. Happy birthday to Gary, 44 years old. And Erin Mulder. She's my cousin, my first cousin, the youngest of 3 to my uncle Tony and Aunt Terry. Erin Mulder is 48, was 48 yesterday. Happy birthday, Erin. All right, next. Oh, I didn't do today. Friends' birthdays today. My one-time neighbor from a long, long time ago in the early to mid-'80s in Eatontown, Antonia Conti. Or Antonia Conti, sorry. 50 years old. Happy birthday, Antonia. And Joseph Estrada, the son of a couple bowlers I was bowling with. I think Joe actually bowled too in Bradley Beach. Happy birthday, Joe. All right. Tomorrow and beyond. So Sunday, Jimmy Cipher, 43, bowler who I bowled with for a short time at Strathmore. Happy birthday, Jimmy. Casey Kreutz, another bowler who I've bowled in tournaments with. Happy birthday, Casey. Dale Baldwin, one of the better bowling secretaries I've ever known. Dale Baldwin, who's now retired. I don't even think he's bowling anymore. 79 years old tomorrow. Happy birthday. Michael Haugen Jr. It's his birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday. He's a bowler in many leagues in New Jersey. Happy birthday. Neil Eppinger, another Eatontown friend, 44 years old. Happy birthday. Michael Boyle, a classmate of mine from CBA, 49 years old. Happy birthday. Monday, Melanie Sadowski, hitting the big 4-0. I bowl with her in my league now. So she'll be turning 40 on Monday. Sarah Page, formerly Sarah Jankowski, who was one of my neighbors I grew up with in Eatontown. So Sarah, it's her birthday on Monday. She'll be 45. Courtney Lynn, not her last name. She soon will be Courtney Bobrowski. Courtney is the fiance to Beth's nephew, Andrew, who will be going to their wedding in February. And that, I've only known Courtney a little bit. I've only met her a few times. She's a very nice girl. Happy birthday, Courtney. Okay, lastly for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Lorenzo Chapatin, 30 years old. When they're that young, it's either I work with them at a supermarket or they're bowlers, and this one's a bowler. Lorenzo, happy birthday. Daniel Bomer, 43, happy birthday. Danielle is a friend of mine I met through my second marriage with Laura. Danielle, happy birthday, 43 years old. And Phil Gessner, 75, former, no, he's not even former, he's still a director for now Union County Bowling Association. Was a Central Jersey, but Central Jersey's now joined with Union. So, and I met Phil way back when I was a director. When I was, and I helped out with the state director as well. That's where I met Phil and his wife and a bunch of other people. So happy birthday, Phil, on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day. Noemi Landy, formerly Noemi Greca. I went to school with her, and according to Facebook, she says she's 48, which means she was younger than me in grammar school, which I thought I was the youngest. So, so happy birthday, Noemi, on New Year's Day. Colin Redmond, I met through friends when I was with Laura. Colin turns 47 on New Year's Day. Rob Andrzejewski, a classmate of mine from CBA. The Juice, we used to call him, if I remember correctly. So Rob, his birthday is also on New Year's Day. He'll be 49. And last but not least, on Thursday, Holly, Kyle, and Tony, my landlord, one of my two landlords, she turns 66 on Thursday. So happy birthday, everybody. Let me knock these two out. Again, so if anyone wants to join me on the show, or like I said before, contact me for football pool and or Super Bowl boxes. That's the email. No, we're going to go over here. That's the email you email me at. CHAZZroyalty@gmail.com. And why I say that if you want to join me in conversation, that episode 66 will be on either. Okay, hold on a second. I need to rewrite. Either should not even be there. Save. Okay. Let's go back. So, episode 66 will be on Tuesday, January 7th at 8 p.m. That will be the second to last episode of Chaz Says Anything. Chaz Says Anything will be done on January 14th. That's my major news. Because CHAZZ and JIM Sports will begin on January 20th. Monday, January 20th. That's the major news that I have right now. So, the 7th and the 14th, and that's it. This will be indefinitely done, so I can concentrate more on a newer podcast-like show. Okay? So, like I said, I'll get the information over the next 2 weeks for this. I might actually even start the show with this. So if you want to see where I'm going or see what I'm doing, you're going to want to see that. And for final, hold on, let me take this off for a second. I got to take this off. So, I don't know if I can hold it on. Hold on a second. There we go. I'll do it like this. So, as I wanted to say to everybody, Happy New Year. 2025, here we come. So, for me and everybody else in my family, to you, whoever watches, Happy New Year. I'll see you in a week, a little over a week. let's rock and roll into 2025. Everybody have a good day and a good rest of the year.